So I'd like to start by inviting, as we talk about the skills that we require for this future, the founder and CEO of Wave, who was born and raised in Lagos and is no stranger to the challenges of education and social mobility. When her parents were unable to ignore the education system's breakdown, they were compelled to send her to the United States for university, and that exposure and experience made her resolve to help transform the education system, not just in Nigeria, but in the African region. After graduating from Stanford University, she worked with the Monitor Group, TechnoServe, and the Center for Public Policy Alternatives. As an MBA candidate at Harvard Business School, she partnered with fellow West Africans who were passionate about tackling youth unemployment and launched Wave in 2013. Wave tackles youth unemployment by growing the supply of work-ready youth while growing the demand as well from employers, thereby leveling the playing field for young people in Africa to assess the skills and opportunity they require to become whatever they imagine. She's passionate also about supporting social innovators and scaling their sustainability impact. Let's give a Calabar welcome to Misan Rewane, the founder CEO of Wave, who will be talking to us this morning about the future of workplace skills.
So I was that kid in school who I'm talking, I'm making fun of the teacher, and then everybody now starts, and I realize there's something going on behind me, and the teacher is there. So that's why I had a moment where I was like, what's going on behind me? I'll stand on existing protocols. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you to the Bridge Leadership Foundation, the chairman of the board, the executive team, all the volunteers who do a lot of the hard work the night before. Thank you to all my fellow speakers, to Amelia, our awesome host, and to all of you for being here very early on a Saturday morning. I usually feel a bit hypocritical when I am asked to come and speak about the future of anything. I am the classic procrastinator. Let me tell you how much of a procrastinator I am. On Thursday night, technically Friday morning, 2 a.m., I emailed my slides for today to the team and just assumed, oh yeah, they got it. And then this morning, I'm like, oh yeah, you have my slides, right? And my slides are not here, and we were running around, and so that is literally how I live my life. So when you come and ask me to talk about the future of skills and the workforce, please pardon me, because I'm not always the one who thinks 5, 10, 15 years into the future. That being said, if you only take one thing away from what I'm about to say for the next few minutes, it would be this. First slide. It is your responsibility, indeed your duty, no one else's, to take the time to reflect on what it is that you want to do with your one wild and precious life. No one will take the time to think as deeply about you, but you. And so it all starts with a vision of what it is that you want to do with your one wild and precious life. One of my favorite quotes is by a man called John Stott. And he says, vision is a deep dissatisfaction with what is and a clear grasp of what could be. I'll repeat. Vision is a deep dissatisfaction with what is. And we all know what is. And a clear grasp of what could be. And so for your own life, you need to have that clear grasp of where you're trying to go. Everybody will come and talk about the technology, the innovation, but if you don't know where you're trying to go, you will wake up one day and you will hear somebody say, oh, JAM gave me zoology at a Polytechnic of so and so, and that is what I'm studying. You have not thought for yourself, what do you want to do? Should I take what JAM has given me or whatever, I don't know, the body that gives you what school you're going to, or should you go out and get what it is you want? You have to have a clear grasp of what you want to do with your life. And so one framework, excuse me, I used to want to be a teacher, and so when I'm up on stage, I'll throw a bit of framework at you, I'm sorry. One framework that I have found is very helpful is, I don't know how well you can see it, but it is this concept, a Japanese concept called ikigai. Iki in Japanese means life, and gai means purpose. Life's purpose. What does it mean to have lived a life of purpose? Nobody can define that for you but you. But the Japanese, particularly in this town called Okinawa, I don't know how many of you watched The Karate Kid when you were young, but karate came out of Okinawa, and so did ikigai. And Okinawa they have the most 100-year-olds per capita. So they live long, and I think it's because they follow this principle. You have to find the intersection of what it is that you love, what it is that you are good at, what it is that you can get paid for, and what it is that the world needs. And it is where those things intersect that you are truly living your life's purpose. No one can do it for you but you. I love acting, and that's, this is the biggest crowd I've ever spoken to in my life. I'm hopefully not shaking too much, but that's because I like acting. In school, I would act in every play, and I love singing. So musical play, I'm the first there. I think I was kind of good at it. Could I get paid for it? I'm again in the home of Nollywood, so the answer is yes. But it would have taken me quite a number of years of really loving it, really being good at it, to now get to the point where I can be rewarded for it. And does the world need it? That does the world need? Let me just spend a bit of time clarifying. It's not, does the world need another actor? When the world needs something, you make meaning for other people. People respond to what it is that you put in the world. I can be a singer and actor in a room of my family and friends, and they respond well to it. That means the world needs it, that particular world. So as long as people are responding to what it is that you are putting out into it, then the world needs it to some extent. So did the world need me to be an actor? Yes, there was some meaning there, but it just was not altogether there. I heard an interesting statistic the other day that over 50% of millennials have a side hustle. Some people have what you call a side helpful. I help people on the side. I like to volunteer. I like to do good stuff to make the world a better place. So your side hustle or your side helpful. And the reason why that is, why an increasing number of millennials have a side hustle or a side helpful, is because they're not finding ikigai in their 9 to 5. And so they are taking time from their 5 to 9, 5 p.m. to 9 a.m. to now start working on the things that they love to do, that they are good at. When you love to do something and you're good at it, that is your passion. When you are good at something and you can get paid for it, that is your profession. When you are paid for something and the world needs it, that is your vocation. And it goes round and round like that. Your mission is where when the world needs what you are providing and you love to do it. And that's what that is about. So one of the things I would appreciate for us to do before the end of today is to think about, what does ikigai mean for you? I wish even the older people in the room, in their third phase of life, start to think about, what does ikigai mean for you? If you're not there already, I pray that we're all there. But again, it's not it's not a destination, it's through your life. I hear a lot of young people, and even me when I'm young, people would always ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I think the question should be, what do we want to do when you grow up? Like I said, I used to want to be a teacher. But actually what I wanted to do was just help people reach their potential. I love that. I'll show up here for free every day and get to speak to anyone who just wants a light bulb to go up. That's my ikigai, to solve problems. I love to solve problems. Can I get paid for it? Yes. Am I good at it? And you get good at it by doing it over and over again? Yes. Does the world need it? Well, I'm here, aren't I? And that is my ikigai. And it means that every night I go to bed, and if God takes me away, that's okay. I am living my purpose. Nobody will ever say at my funeral, oh, Misan always wanted to do something. No, she was doing it when she died. And that is the meaning of life. So find your ikigai. Now we talk a lot about the future and it can be a bit overwhelming, at least for people like me who I'm just trying to make it to 2 p.m., really. And so I can't predict the future. I can't. Some people are really good at predicting analytical trends, but I'm not. Oh, this is next slide. This was another slide. But yeah, you can predict the future. Some can, but I can't. But you can be prepared for it. How do we prepare for the future? Thinking about your ikigai, it's not where you get to at the end of your life. It's something that you do every day till you drop dead. You live out your life's purpose. If you've decided, okay, I love styling people. Funny story. I've been to Calabar. The first time I came to Calabar, I realized actually yesterday that I've been to Calabar 3 times. The first time I came to Calabar, I was 25. I had heard beautiful things about this place. I have some amazing friends who are from here. And I said I was going to come and spend my birthday here. So I came with my mom and we came for the weekend. And my friend's cousin, who's right here, funny enough, he sent someone to show us around. And that whole weekend, he was our guide. And he took us everywhere. And I saw your beautiful, amazing city, how clean it was. And this young man, I know I'm from Lagos. Well, I was born and raised in Lagos. I think in this kind of space, I have to say my father is from Delta State. But I was born and raised in Lagos. This is the cleanest city I've ever been to in Nigeria. And this young man who showed us around, I haven't seen him since then, right? Fast forward 10 years later, I arrived yesterday. I called my initial friend who connected me with this friend, and he didn't pick up his phone. I wanted to find out, where is Coco who showed us around? I'd love to see him, that I'm back in a city. And he didn't pick up, so I was like, I guess I won't see Coco. And then yesterday evening in the hotel, Coco shows up randomly. I was like, you, the person that... And so I started asking him, what are you doing with your life now? And he tells me he's a stylist, a production stylist. So for Nollywood, for anybody, he's a stylist. I was like, what is that? How much you can make? He says you can make 50K by styling somebody for an event. I was in shock. So when people tell me, there are no jobs. I want to start a business, but there's no startup capital. And somebody tells me that he woke up one day and started to think about his ikigai. He loves to style people. He's pretty good at it. How can he get paid for it? And does the world need it? And here he is. He's doing some production, styling for some international competition, etc. And he's right here in Calabar. He is a son of the soil, and he's still here. So how will you win in this game that you have chosen to play? Skills. That is how you can be prepared for the future. Okay. Everybody knows LinkedIn, I hope. Is the Facebook for people who are dorks and just want to actually make contacts with people that can help them do other things. The CEO of LinkedIn, millions and millions of jobs are posted on LinkedIn. And so every year, the CEO of LinkedIn talks about what skills are these jobs looking for. When an employer is posting on LinkedIn, I need a graphics designer, what are the top skills that the world is looking for? They focus on the US, but it's fairly reflective. And he says, as powerful as artificial intelligence will ultimately become and is becoming, we are still miles away from computers being able to replicate and replace human interaction and human touch. So I smile. I don't know how to code. But are there skills that I have that are going to make me competitive over and over again if I live till 100? Yes. And that's what I'm here to talk about. He also says if you start to develop these skills, you're in a better position because the jobs that require these skills are going to be around for a longer period of time. And so what are these skills? When I think about the future and all the things that are going to change and I get worried, I start to anchor myself on, regardless of the future, in 2050, what is going to stay the same? I think it's Jeff Bezos that talks about that. What are the things that will ultimately stay the same in 10 years, in 50 years? Can you imagine a universe where human beings say, I want less value for my money. I want to pay more for a product than less for a product. No. Humans will always want value from money. Can you imagine a universe where somebody says, no, I want a product that is less convenient, it's harder to use it, it's more difficult? No. People will always want simpler, faster, easier to use. There are some things that are just not going to change. People will always need shelter. They'll always need clothes. They'll always need food. They'll always need entertainment. They will always need to be persuaded about certain things. Those are the areas where you can start to focus on because they're not changing anytime soon. How do you be that innovator that in your ikigai, whatever it is, fashion designer, journalist, whatever it is, you are able to deliver it more value for money? Easier, cheaper, simpler, faster, stronger. If you remember the Kanye West song. So transferable skills. What are those skills that are not going away that the LinkedIn CEO confirms year in, year out are becoming even more important? The ability to persuade people. And very quickly, humor me. If you think that you are amazing at persuading people, it rained yesterday, but in that rain you could have been selling sunglasses and singlets. There's just somebody that they always convince you at 2 a.m. to go out to the club when you have to speak the next day. If you are good at persuading people and you think you're amazing, just come forward. One person, just run to the front. A second skill. And I have a prize. I have prizes. I literally have one big bag here full of prizes. So one young person who thinks I'm amazing at persuading people, please just show up here. If you think that you are creative, you are able to use your imagination to come up with ideas of how to do things differently. Everybody just says, I've never seen that before. You do everything in a different kind of way. If you think you're creative, please come forward. Just one person. One person. I'm the most creative person I know. One person. If you think, look already, you can see. You can see. He is creative. Look at that. By the way, this is made by someone from this place. I wore this on purpose, Itu Embassy. She's an amazing designer. It's okay. I have enough. Come. I have enough gifts, I meant, but stop now. If you think that you are amazing at, this term is called multidisciplinary thinking. Let me break it down. There's some people who, I am studying economics, but if you start to talk to me about the climate and science and what is happening with cows and methane that is released into the planet and how it's affecting plastics and blah, blah, blah. And then you now start to talk to me about art. And then I can now tie that in. They read every page of the newspaper and it's speaking to them. Every page, the sports section, that's multidisciplinary thinking. I can think across different disciplines. And I just get it. And I'm able to pull the different disciplines. I'm preaching to you, you know yourself. And your friends are always like, stay in your lane. Every lane is your lane. You're firing off the walls. Okay. Last person. If you think that you are amazing at putting yourself in other people's shoes and really connecting with what is happening with them, and to put yourself in other people's shoes, you have to take off your own shoes and put on their own shoes. And people are looking at you and you're crying when you're watching the film. And you are just, and people are turning away and you're like, no, it happened to the person, so I have to watch it because that is real. That is empathy. Stop. Stop. Okay. Stop. You see, now they're going to make me stop. Yeah, they're going to make me stop. They're going to make me stop. Okay? Last one. Don't come forward. Stand up in your seats if this is you. Actually, two, because what I just did is an example of the real last one. If you are that person who, while people are talking about the idea and the problem of the idea, And you have built it. Taking initiative, you have built it. People are talking and you're like, I started it now. I started last week. Are you coming to join me? You take initiative. Nobody has to tell you to just fix it. I mean, the other day I came out of a hotel and I had just painted my nails and I was carrying a bag and I was trying to get into my car and the security man rushed to open my door. And I said, what happened? He said, I noticed that you were trying to protect your nails. And so I came to open, I was blown away. Taking initiative and attention to detail, by the way. If you think that's you, stand up. Stand up if that's you. Stand up, you can join. Great, that's you. Right? And then the last one, which is an example of what I just did here. I saw that this was getting you guys are too talented in Calabar, and this was getting a bit wild. And so what did I do? I adapted. The ability to adapt. You see your circumstances are changing and you need to unlearn something and relearn something else. That skill, if I could only bet on one skill, that ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn, which is what our school system is meant to be teaching us, but we all know, that skill, if you have that, stand up. I think every Nigerian, just by definition of being alive, you are adapting. You are a rapid problem solver. And so my question to you, I'm going to just call on one or two people. Where did you learn that skill? What's your own?
Empathy. Yes.
Where did you learn it?
I was born with it.
You were born with it. Empathy. Did anybody learn it in any other way than you were just born with? You just woke up and you had it. Did anybody develop it? Did you get stronger through something else? No? Oh.
It got stronger by actually doing it.
By doing it?
Yes.
Where were you doing it?
Okay, like I grew up in, I went to boarding school. So my roommates, they have problems and they talk to me. So I talk to them, just talking, and they're like feeling better. So I kept doing it and I found that talking to people and giving them words of advice actually helps them. And I go as far as actually doing whatsoever, if I can, doing what they need, like solving their problems.
She developed empathy by talking to her roommates. She learned to solve problems by giving them different suggestions. Somebody who is a multidisciplinary... Felicia, you didn't get up here. You are a multidisciplinary thinker. Felicia is studying conservation and she came to a conference on technology and innovation to learn about tech. That is multidisciplinary thinking, my dear. Where did you learn it?
I just found out I could do it.
Who learned it in other ways? They were not just born with it. They developed it.
Multidisciplinary.
Yeah. How did you develop it?
Okay, I'm a medical student, 500 level, Unical, and and I'm into politics in school.
You are into politics?
Yes, I'm the General Secretary of the Calabar University Medical Association. I've been past president of Agriculture Student Association.
How did you develop it?
I developed it by being into leadership positions and also finding problems and giving solutions to those problems. So whenever I gave solutions to problems, people saw me as a good leader that could represent.
So people would come to you with non-medical problems and you would not say, it's not about biology right now, I can't help you. You would actually say, let me think about it. Okay, you have a politics problem on campus. The chancellor is not agreeing with us. Maybe we should try X. Interesting. Campus is dirty. Let's think about. So you developed it that way. Creativity. Where's my guy? The first one on stage. That guy. That guy on creativity with that outfit. With that outfit. The creativity guy with that outfit. I beg. How did you develop it?
Well, I started as a brand. Let me be very sincere. I realized that I have this catchy. I'm very catchy. And I decided to explore on it. I attended University of Lagos. And I know that these Lagos guys have this sassy kind of, attraction. So I said, my name is Efizi. What's Efizi? adding value to whatever you have. I'm a clothier. I'm a brand model. So if I wear your clothes, I can sell you like $1 million plus. That's just it. That's just.
How did you get better at it?
I get better at it by working on myself every day and then.
How?
I look at my weakness, I look at my strengths, and I develop it day in and day out.
Persuasion. You can sell me rain boots in Hamatan. How did you develop it?
Okay, first, my name is God Pikin. So the name already is persuading people. I grew up in Warri.
When God Pikin tells you to buy rain boots in Hamatan, you should just shall buy it.
Okay, I grew up in Warri, and from there, I be radio presenter, and from talking on radio, I also market.
How did you develop it? Were you age 9 and you just realized you could do it? How did you get better at it?
Okay, I started listening to people doing marketing. I started attending marketing seminars. I started attending programs like this from age 15. When people were talking, they kept convincing people. And so I started doing it myself. At a point in Warri, I started selling pure water. Then it was ice water. There was no well-packaged water then in Warri. So I discovered that when I go out with my friends, I will sell more than them. And then when I finished university, I joined the marketing team of Coca-Cola as a freelance. So one particular day, now that for you to make money, you need to sell 3 cartons of 5 Alive each day. So at the end of the month, you need to sell like 150. Yes, so I got better by doing it. So one day I went to one new supermarket. Normally I'm supposed to sell 3 and close for that day. So I went to one new supermarket and I was able to convince them to order for 1 full pallet.
You can see how he just held the mic for 5 minutes persuading us. If he had not been able to convince you and confuse you, that you need to go and learn persuasion skills. Taking initiative. My brother, who stood up here? How did you develop it?
Okay, for me, taking initiative, one of the things I've always wanted to do is to solve problems. I'm an Aba man. And as an Aba man, whenever I come to a place, I see, okay, the government, for example, stopped the use of keke from 7 o'clock. Then you come out, you see a lot of crowd. Then I built an app called Inaga. And all of a sudden, instead of doing only taxi.
Tell me about when you were 15. How did you develop this?
So Aba was a dirty place, and I wanted to make the place clean. I came to Calabar and spent 6 months and worked with waste management then in Calabar so that I can learn. I went to university, decided because Aba was dirty, I went to Futo to study waste management. So I wanted to study what will help me solve the problems I saw in my place. And from there, I went to learn how to use GIS to solve waste management problems. And over and over and over and over.
Are they 30 seconds?
So, for me, how I developed it is, in Lagos, I used to wait for everybody that do something. And one day I just realized that what we're waiting for, you have to do it yourself. So, when I'm doing anything now, even if I'm going to a meeting to present a document, I'm very flexible. And I always bring my team along, some of them to just learn. So the moment I'm saying something, I now realize that you have a power to do a lot of things. This is not being religious or anything. Last week, I went to Kenya. I didn't even plan to set up our office now. I was just doing a survey. The moment something just happened, I realized it's very simple. I incorporated the company before I left that place. So sometimes you just know you are the one to do it, and you just take it.
You show up in Kenya on a visitor's visa. You see a problem, and you set up a company before you leave there. That's initiative. Thank you. Everybody go back. No, the gift is there now. I have the gift. Don't worry. I have the gift. Come and find me afterwards. I will give you the gift. I promise. I'm not, I want to come back to Calabar and be safe. Not that I came and I promised things and I ran away. Did anybody notice one thing, one word that was missing? When you think about where you develop skills, you normally have an idea, right? About where. And everybody here told you about where they developed it. Did you hear that one word that you are normally expecting to hear? It also begins with S. What's the word? Thank you. They didn't learn it in school. We are in school for 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., maybe, in primary school. Primary school, 25% of your life is in a classroom between the ages of 0 and 20. The remaining 75% of your life, the school of life, is where you develop these skills. You learn them in the classroom if you're in the right classroom. But you learn these skills in the school of life. When somebody tells you what life-wide learning is, that's what this is. You learn life-wide in any area and you learn lifelong till you drop dead. Life-wide learning, lifelong learning, it means that you are always learning. I received an education yesterday. I arrived in Calabar at 1 p.m. and from the bus, from the airport till after midnight, speaking with the people on this front row, I received an education. Education is about learning. And you have to learn these skills to win in the future. To win today, the present of work, let's be honest. Oh yeah. So we talked about the skills. You had the slide with the skills. So learn those transferable skills. Digital skills, which is what we're going to spend the rest of the day talking about. Machines are your friends. They are your future colleagues. They're your present colleagues, if we're honest. And you need to learn to play nice with them. Next slide. Next slide. This is a picture of my mom, 2 pictures of my mom. In the 80s, she was an accountant. And I just found this out the other day, actually, that she finished secondary school. She didn't have enough money to go to university. So she worked for 2 years as a bank teller and learned these skills. And from there, she realized, I think I can go into accounting. So she went to the Polytechnic, studied accounting. She became an accountant. The pictures are not very clear. No, go back. The pictures are not very clear, but in there, the 2 pictures on random days, there are 2 things that I noticed that were missing. There's no phones, of course, and there's no computers. In her time, what skills did an accountant need? An accountant needed to know mental arithmetic, add up the numbers quicker than anybody else in the room. An accountant needed to have attention to detail, figure out where the mistakes are when you balance the books. Fast forward 40-something odd years later, she's still an accountant. Her best friend is her laptop. She has a colleague called her laptop, accounting software. You are in school now. It is not about mental arithmetic to be an accountant. It needs to be about the ability to learn accounting software. And when I asked her what skills are most relevant in her job today, she confirmed my hypothesis. It's no longer enough to have the books accounted for. You have to be able to help the business think about what next, so what. She's there, one of her clients is a school, and she's helping the school think about alternative energy because their diesel costs are too high. She's helping them think about what additional after-school programs they can do to bring in more revenue. Multidisciplinary thinking. What do the numbers mean? Analytical skills. And she said the most important one is actually relationship building. So your empathy, your persuasion. Because accountants are a commodity, if we're honest. Why should I come to you versus the other person? It's not about price. It is about relationship building. And those skills are what help you get there. The previous slide, please. Work, not jobs. Everybody here is waiting for a job. Newsflash, there are no more jobs. There is work. There are no jobs, there is work. So the guy I told you about, Coco, who's doing his stylist, he has different gigs. The word gig just comes from back in the day when you would have musicians who get a job and, you're coming to play at the club for a night. You would call it a gig. I have a gig tomorrow night. I have 2 gigs next weekend. That's where the word gig economy comes from. This is the gig economy. There are people who are making more money just by doing weekend usher jobs than people who are sitting in the bank. There are people who are making more money doing babysitting. That is, I'm a nanny and I decide my own time. On Tuesday night, I can come and look after your kids. On Wednesday morning, I can take them to school. During the holiday, I can come for a month. There are no jobs, there is work. And we need to change that mindset and start looking for work. You will develop these skills. You will learn how to work with machines. You will develop your credibility in finding work if you go out and find work. Start looking for internship opportunities. Go and work for free. What work do you need done? Find the work in your local community so that you don't have to take T-fare. You can work there every day for 1 month. If you go somewhere for 1 month and you're adding value to somebody, the day you are meant to leave on day 31, he will say, she will say, please, okay, let me just see. Maybe we can find something to just be paying you. I guarantee you. Go somewhere for 30 days and add value. Ask them what problem they are trying to solve and help them accelerate their path to that solution. You will find work. Don't wait around saying, oh, Calabar, we're not from Lagos, so you people are different. No, here, like I've told you, people are finding work and they're hammering more than some people in Lagos. So I want you to leave this room having a sense of what your ikigai is. What is your purpose? How are you going to win and be the best you can be at that purpose? How are you going to develop these skills that are not going anywhere anytime soon? And how are you going to develop the skills that clearly the world is telling you, if you get them now, you can hammer? Find out those skills. Demand from your schools that they start to teach you those things. Go and be an activist and demand. Don't give me a credential at the end of 6 years and tell me I've passed WAEC and I can't find work. And I can't do work even if I found it because I don't have these skills. Remember that 75% of your learning is happening outside of formalized classrooms, and start to shine your eyes and learn the skills to find a place in the future. And it's not just about finding a place, it's about winning. Win. Develop the ability and the habit to learn, unlearn, and relearn. I'll close with a final quote. Steve Jobs. Do not let the noise of other people's opinions drown out your own inner voice. You already know what your ikigai is, and I wish you the best as you find it.